hey there. Can you see the bicep? Am I a little underdressed? Now you might be asking, Ricardo, what are we going to get up to today? Boy, do I have good news for you. Well, this is my studio, and this is all you guys know. Now you guys remember that super sick Lego video I did? Well, here they are now. Kind of underwhelming. Regardless though, I had so much fun making that video. I've been dreaming of Sonic the Hedgehog Lego sets since I was a little kid. Not only the fact that we had them, but they were as good as they were was just a dream come true. It's no secret that the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog franchise at this point, if you will, has been doing incredibly well. Not just the sets themselves, but also the external media that has surrounded it with promos and all of that. But it was no secret that we were going to get more Sonic sets. Prior to the first wave even releasing, we knew we were going to be getting 2 more sets, and we later figured out that they were both of Shadow and Knuckles. But here we are in the first month of 2024 and those sets have finally arrived. But not just that, we also got a poly bag of Kiki of all characters. I was stupid and didn't decide to pick these guys up day one, so I have no time to waste. I'm going to be bringing you all along to my local LEGO store, picking up the new sets, and then heading back here to review them all for you. So how about we get a move on? I put on a jacket, and I took the hat off because I thought you guys might be sick of that. It's been a few videos. Anyways, let's go. To the LEGO store. Cut to stock driving footage. Alright everybody, we are now here on our way to the LEGO store. I have my friend filming this. I'm not going to have them speak though because I don't want 15-year-olds to attack them on Instagram. We're going to the LEGO store, I can see it in the distance, and we're going to go pick up these sets. Where's the Shadow set? It's just no case. I don't see Shadow. I need these. They're running in the back to see if they have the Shadow set. If not, we'll probably have to run a Target or something, but we have a good haul so far with the keychain, the brick heads, and the Knuckles set. Alright, so we just left the LEGO store. We got a decent haul. We didn't get everything we needed. We just missed the Shadow set. We're just gonna run into Target real quick. But we got a decent haul. We got the Knuckles set. We got 2 brick heads. We got the keychain. So we're just gonna hop over to Target, pick up the Shadow set, and we'll go back home, start building these. Alright, I have returned. It's been a few days later. As you guys saw, the only one we were able to find at the LEGO store was this Knuckles set. But of course I was able to find the Shadow set at Target. Both these sets are readily available. But also something that's flying under the radar right now is this Kiki Poly Bag. The only place I've been able to find this is Walmart. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into these sets and see if Wave 2 holds up to the standard of Wave 1. Our first set is the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog Shadows Escape set. This is the cheapest LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog set to date, sitting at $19.99, aka $20. I'm really not expecting too much for that price, but let's go ahead and dive into this. At the top left we have the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog logo sitting on a few blue bricks. At the bottom left it says that the set is 196 pieces. At the top right it says that the set is for ages 8 and up, the set number and the name of the set, Shadows Escape. And at the bottom right we have the Sonic render, which we see on every piece of Sonic merchandise nowadays. And we have the artwork showing Shadow on his motorcycle, the Rhino bod, and the escape pod that Shadow is in. Love that the background is Radical Highway from Sonic Adventure 2 where Shadow makes his first appearance, rather than just being Green Hill Zone like all of the other sets. The side of the box features the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog logo along with the render of Shadow. The other side of the box is literally nothing. And here's the back of the box. The LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog logo at the top left, and then a bunch of images of the set in action. It looks really cool. At the top of the box you have the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog logo and images of the minifigures including Shadow and Rhino bot. At the bottom of the box we have like nothing. But now it's time to just open this thing, unbox it. Once again, shout out to LEGO for these little press points in the box to make it so much easier to open. We just have one instruction manual for this thing. Here's a look. And we have 2 bags, nothing crazy. Starting off with bag 1, the first thing that we're gonna do is build our Shadow the Hedgehog minifigure. Here he is in all of his edgy glory with his little frown. Fun fact, the first Sonic LEGO minifigure to actually have a character that's not smiling. He has his back spikes printed on. Overall, really solid, a lot of detail in here. He has his inhibitor rings, his pads, everything. I love it. But now it's time to construct the rest of the bag, which will be our motorcycle. I'm so happy that they included this for Shadow's Lego. Shadow having a motorcycle I feel is one of the essential parts of his character almost at this point. And although it's only really been featured in stuff like the Shadow the Hedgehog video game and the Sonic racing games, I felt for the Shadow Lego, if you're going to do a Shadow set of just Shadow, you're going to need to do something that isn't as large as something like the Space Colony arc. Which, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see at some point. So for something that only costs you the amount of like a Chick-fil-A order in 2024, the motorcycle is perfect. And here it is, and no surprise, I loved this. It's incredibly faithful to Shadow's motorcycle, even having some of the fine detailings on the printings on some of the bricks. I can't believe how
how good of a job they did with this. I'm just so impressed. But we're not done with bag 1 just yet, as we still have Rhinobot to build, and I will say this is an interesting badnik to include in the set. The set is clearly inspired by the early to mid 2000s Sonic era with the radical highway background and Shadow riding on a motorcycle, so I thought they maybe would have chose the Sonic Adventure 2 badnik or enemy, so something like a gun hunter, but maybe that would have been too big, or if they wanted to do something smaller like the Rhinobot, they could have done something like a gun beetle. So while I have a preference, I still don't have a problem with this. It's still a new Sonic LEGO minifigure, and with Sega seeming to push Rhinobot in merchandise lately with his recent appearance in the Jax line, I guess it's not a complete shock that he's here. And here he is. He looks good, as all of the Sonic LEGO badniks have. He even comes with a Clucky minifigure, which you're able to put inside of him, which is such a nice touch. I love how they include Flickies with basically all of these little LEGO Sonic sets. But now that we got bag 1 out of the way, let's get into bag 2. We're going to be building Shadow's capsule, or whatever you want to call it. Another very cool addition to this set, just adding more onto the Shadow theming of it. I also love this little piece right here that you could see Shadow and like all of his readings and data and whatever. Just a cool addition. The rest of it is very straightforward, nothing too crazy, nothing overly complex. It's very easy to put together, but it is fun to put together, that should be noted. But I do want to give a shout out to this Eggman head that's going to go at the top of it. It's crazy how just a few regular LEGO pieces can look so faithful to something you'd see in a video game, for instance. I also love how the set acts as like a semi-toll booth you'd see on a highway or something, just adding to the radical highway theming of it, which just makes me want one of those Sonic Adventure 2 badniks even more. And here it is completed. I think it looks so cool. You can see that little road barrier thing in action. And there you have it. That is the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog Shadow's Escape set. Remember, this is the cheapest Sonic the Hedgehog LEGO set to date, so you're not going to get a whole lot in comparison to others, but for what you're spending, only $20, I think you get your money's worth out of this. Technically 2 minifigures, maybe even 3 if you want to count the Flicky, and a play feature. I would definitely pick this up, especially if you're a massive Shadow the Hedgehog fan. That just adds to it for me. I would personally put this as the number 2 priority if you haven't started collecting Sonic Legos yet. My number 1 recommendation would still be the Tales Workshop set, and then get this one. It would be the perfect addition. But with all that said, let's move on to the next set. Up next we have the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog Knuckles Guardian Mech set. This is retailing for $34.99, the same price as the very first starter set from the first wave. So for as much as we got out of that set, let's see if this one is able to compete at that price. At the top left we once again have the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog logo. The bottom left lets us know that this set has 276 pieces, so a little under 100 more pieces than the Shadow set. This set is also for ages 8 and up. We have the set number and the name, and once again that's Sonic the Hedgehog render. I really like this artwork. It shows Knuckles and his mech in action. Definitely the weirdest thing we've gotten from a LEGO set so far for the Sonic line. And then we have Rouge in her hang glider trying to steal that Master Emerald. Also shoutouts to them for using a different background, this being Mystic Ruins from Sonic Adventure. The side of the box features renders of Knuckles and Rouge, and once again this basic other side. This is never going to change. The back is absolutely awesome, with that LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog logo at the top left, and then showing all of the different features that this set has, such as Knuckles' mech being in use, Rouge stealing the Master Emerald, all of that stuff. It's so cool. Top of the box shows the logo and the minifigures of Knuckles and Rouge along with their scaling, and then that traditional bottom. But now it's time to unbox this puppy. I can't wait to get into this one. Here's a look at the instruction manual. Once again, it's just a singular one, and this set features 3 different bags. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive into this first bag, which is definitely the smallest first bag of any of these Sonic Legos so far, and it contains this amazing Rouge minifigure. Definitely one of my favorite minifigures so far from the Sonic Legos, and I'm not just saying that because it's Rouge. Don't be weird. They didn't even give her any hoo-haws on this one. The rest of this bag is very straightforward, simply just building the rest of the Master Emerald. The shrine isn't anything necessarily large, it's actually pretty small, but one of my favorite features of the set is how you have little Master Emerald shards that you're able to put inside of the general Master Emerald. I think that's such a cool little feature, and it's so simplistic too. And after that, you're really just building Rouge's hang glider, which is interesting because Rouge never used a hang glider from my knowledge in the Sonic series or any piece of media, mainly because, you know, she's a bat, so she can fly. And while this might be like unnecessary if we're being logistical, it's just another thing to be in the set and for it to make your money's worth, so I'm cool with it. And here it is. It looks pretty cool. Nothing too crazy. I do love how it could be used though as a way for her to steal the Master Emerald, being able to pick it up with that. It's such a cool feature. But now we're on to bag 2, where we're gonna get into the big boy himself, Knuckles the Echidna and his mech. And let me just say right here, right now, that this might be one of my favorite Sonic LEGO minifigures to date, if not my favorite. I love how his gloves are their own pieces, and just everything about this. The coloring, the molding, it's perfect. I love this. And for the rest of bag 2 and for bag 3, you're just gonna be diving into building this mech for Knuckles. Once again, like I said, this is not something that's ever been in a Sonic game before. This is brand new for the LEGO. I'm definitely not opposed to seeing something like this in a Sonic game at some point, but I don't know, I just think this adds to the charm, kind of, along with Rouge's hang glider just being their own thing for the set to just make them more fun and make your money's worth. I personally had a whole lot of fun building this. It kind of gave me just slight vibes from Bionicles and those buildable LEGO figures, and the mech itself does have a play feature having these little flingable pellets that come out of there. Kids are gonna have a blast with this one, I'm telling you. All you gotta do is put Knuckles inside of there and boom, there you go. And there you have it. That is the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog Knuckles Guardian Mech set. This is $15 more than the Shadow set that we just went over. And is it worth the price? I don't know. This set does by far have the best minifigures the Sonic line has seen so far. Both Rouge and Knuckles are perfect. But for $15 more, it's pretty comparable to the Shadow set in terms of all the stuff that you get. The Master Emerald Shrine is a little underwhelming. I think they could have gone a little bigger with it, but don't get me wrong, we'll talk about that later. But I do really like this set. I love the minifigures. I do like the mech and the little play feature of being able to steal the Master Emerald with the hang glider. And if you do have $35 around and you already have a few Sonic LEGO sets, I would definitely recommend picking this up, as $35 isn't even that much. But don't forget, this is not the last of it. Next up, we have the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog Kiki's Coconut Attack Poly Bag. This is a surprise, to say the least. At the top, we have the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog logo. At the side, we have the age for the set, the number and name of it, and the fact that this is only 42 pieces. Sonic the Hedgehog render at the bottom right, and then artwork of Kiki and the Flicky. The back of the bag is nothing crazy, so let's just go ahead and dive into this. From my knowledge, we did not know about this thing prior to it just dropping in stores, so it hasn't even been covered that much outside of some people being like, hey, I found this in a Walmart. But this is a welcome surprise, as this is our first ever Sonic polybag and of a very obscure Sonic character who was introduced in Sonic Adventure. I was honestly really hoping for smaller scale Sonic LEGO things like this, and for only $10, I would say that this was worth it. But don't get me wrong, this is a very fast build. You'll get this done in like under 10 minutes. And here he is, LEGO Kiki in the flesh, and I'm just really happy with this thing. It looks like Kiki. They got a lot of detail in him with his little coconut and Flicky, and with a character like Kiki, who, like I said, is pretty obscure in the grand scheme of things, I hope this means we're gonna get a lot more obscure Sonic characters like this in the future, and also at an affordable price range like this of $10. I would of course recommend some of the cheaper Sonic sets opposed to this, but if you got a spare 10 lying around, definitely pick this up if you spot it in the wild. And there you guys have it, Wave 2 of LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog. Overall, I really like all of these sets. I would call them budget sets, if you will, a little bit of a break between the larger sets that we'll be inevitably getting at some point, which we will talk about later. But for sets not even breaking the $40 price tag, these are great. It gives us some of our best minifigures yet, some great play features, and even a polybag of a very obscure character making his grand return to merchandise. Also, it's a way of getting in the Shadow Spirit before the third movie releasing later this year. While I do think that Wave 1 is better, it also has more sets, and all of those sets were more expensive, so there was more that they were able to do with them. So it's not an entirely fair comparison, as none of these sets are even remotely bad. They're all great, but at the same time, they kind of feel like quote-unquote appetizer sets to bigger stuff coming later down the line. So what is coming later down the line? Let's take a look. Unlike the last episode in this LEGO Sonic series, we actually know what Wave 3 is going to be. We have a confirmed 3, technically 4 more sets coming out this year. The first one being a Tails Adventure Boat set coming in at $60. Obviously we don't have a look at these just yet, but Tails will have some kind of adventure boat. We'll see what this holds, but for $60 I think we're gonna get some good stuff with this. I think it's gonna be decently large, and we might get some more minifigures. I'm crossing my fingers for that big figure, as he's the last character that was in Sonic Dimensions that doesn't have a minifigure yet. The next set after that is the Knuckles and the Master Emerald set, which will be coming in at $50. Now this is what I was referring to when we were talking about the Knuckles set in this video. I think they could have done more with the whole Master Emerald of it all, and I think that this is what it's going to be, but at the same time, it feels kind of unnecessary in a way. Like, we just got a Master Emerald set, so I really hope that they're able to differentiate this enough to where it's worth the extra, what, $15? All I'm saying, put a Chaos, put a Tikal, put some Chow in there, you got my money. And then finally, we have the Supersonic vs. Egg Drillster set coming in at $100. This will be a giant set. Not only does it feature Supersonic, we know that's confirmed, but also the Egg Drillster, which isn't the largest Sonic boss. So I'm interested if this is going to be comparable to that last $100 Sonic LEGO set, to where it's basically a giant level. But I did mention how there's technically a 4th set. Well, this won't be part of the main Sonic the Hedgehog line. There is an 18+ Sonic set coming very soon. Not too much is known about it outside of it dropping in October, but this will be our first adult Sonic LEGO set since 2022. I have no idea what this is going to be, be. I don't know if it's going to be an extension to that Green Hill Zone set or not, with it being marble or chemical plant, or if they're going to do something entirely different. Maybe they're going to do a giant buildable Sonic or something like that. I have no clue, but nonetheless, I'm incredibly excited. It's very clear that Sega and LEGO are all in on this partnership together. All of these sets have been amazing so far, and I can't wait for Wave 3 this summer. And if that wave can continue the trend that Wave 1 and 2 have started, then the future of LEGO Sonic is truly going to be amazing.
Wonder what you want right now, wonder what you want right